fifth graders, welcome to lesson 11.10, Analyze Line Plots. Let's get started. Today's lesson objective is I can analyze a line plot by finding the lowest, highest, and average values of the data with 100% accuracy in multiple attempts. Please pause to write the I can and by statement in your digital math notebook now. Today's lesson also has a vocabulary word. Today's vocabulary word is the word average. Average is a middle measure, so it's one way to find the middle of things. We find the average by adding all of the terms and then dividing by the number of data values. This picture is in your digital math notebook already, but you need to pause to write the definition in your notebook. All right, fifth graders, yesterday we talked about making a line plot. Today we're really analyzing the line plot. We're looking at some information we can pull out and answer questions based on our data. In this problem that I'm going to do, it says, Maria is having a birthday party. She pours drinks beforehand so her guests can have a drink when they arrive. She observes how full each cup is and writes it down. I have already made the line plot to show how full the drinks are. You can see from the data that we have 1 1/4, 2 1/2, and 1 2 3 4 5 3/4. Let's use that information to answer some questions. The first question says, counting Maria, how many people will be at the party? So that means we can look either at our data or at our X's to see how many drinks she poured. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people. So 8 X's means 8 people are going to come to the party. Which amount occurred the most often? That means which graph is the tallest, and that we can see is 3/4. It has 5 X's when none of the other ones have that many. And our last question says, what is the total cup size for 3/4? Now, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but if we look at, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 3/4. Then we can multiply 5 times 3/4 to find the total. Remember that we would go straight across the top and straight across the bottom. 5 times 3 is 15 over 4, and 4 goes into 15 3 times, and 3 times 4 is 12, 13, 14, so we have 2/4 left over, which we can simplify down to 3 1/2. So those are the kind of questions we're going to be answering today. Information that we use by pulling out of our chart. Let's try a problem together. All right, guys, you have a copy of this in your digital math notebook. We need to make our graph first. Let's start by grouping the like fractions together. So it looks like I have 1 1/4. So I'm going to put 1 X there. I have 1, 2, 3 1/2. So 1, 2, 3. I have 1, 2, 3/8. 1, 2. And I have 1, 2, 3 5/8. So pause now to move the X's into the correct places for the line plot. Once your line plot is made, we can answer some questions about it. Our first question is, how many bags of candy did he sell? So if we look again at how many total number of X's, or how many total number of data points we have, we can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He sold 9 bags of candy. Which weight occurred the most often? Remember, that's the highest. But in this case, look, we have a tie. So we need to write both of them. 1/2 and 5/8 had the same number of X's. so they both were the most. Let's answer some harder questions together. Pause if you need to finish typing in your answers before we move on. All right, friends, for our lesson activity, we're going to have to use that chart that we just made. Remember that it's in your digital math notebook if you need to go back and look at it in order to help you answer the questions. Our first question says, what is the total weight of the 5/8? So if we flip back and look, 5/8 had 3 x's above it. So that means that we need to do 3 times 5/8. Remember that we're going to go straight across the top and straight across the bottom. 3 times 5 is 15 over 8. And 8 times 2 would be 16, so it doesn't quite go in twice. So it's going to be 1 7/8 when we simplify. Our next question says, what was the total weight for the 3/8? Above the 3/8, we had 2 x's. So that means we need to do 2 times 3/8. Straight across the top and straight across the bottom. 2 times 3 is 6 over 8, which we can simplify by dividing both the top and the bottom by 2 down to 3/4. Our next question asks us what the total weight of all the bags sold on Monday. That means all of the x's, because the whole graph was how much he sold on Monday. We've already found the 5/8 and the 3/8. We need to add the 1/4 and the 1/2. We only had 1/4, so we have 1/4 plus 3/4. That's our answer to this question here. Plus 1 7/8, which means we're going to have to change a denominator. And our last one was 1/2. 1/2 had 3 x's, so that would be 3/2 or 1 1/2. So let's go ahead first and change all of our fractions to common denominators. We know that 1/2 would be 4/8, and 3/4 would be 6/8, and 1/4 would be 2/8. If we add 6/8 plus 2/8, that gives us the whole number 1. And if we add 4/8 plus 7/8, that gives us 11/8. We're running out of space here a little bit. 11/8 simplifies down to 1 3/8. And I'm going to write down here just a second to show all of our space. So we have 1, that was circled in blue, plus 1, which is right here, plus 1 3/8, which gives us 3 3/8. For our last question, we need to find the average. The average is the total that we just found divided by how many x's were on our graph. If you remember, we counted that there were 10 x's on our graph. So we need to do 3 3/8 divided by 10. Whenever we see a fraction and a division sign, we do keep, change, flip. So first we change to improper. 3 times 8 is 24. 25, 26, 27. So we have 27 over 8 times, flip it upside down, 1 over 10, which would give us 27 over 80. All right, guys, I went ahead and did all these problems with you because they're a little bit tricky. But make sure you pause and use the box in your digital math notebook to type in and show this work that we did together. Great job, 5th graders. You're almost finished. When you've completed your digital math notebook, then you can complete your exit slip to show your teacher your understanding. Great job!